Welcome back, amigos. And today we are discussing a sad dropping of points for Chelsea. 4 matches in a row winless now in a game that started already with concerns from the Chelsea perspective. When fans who were wrong, and I've been claiming this in my channel if you've been following me, that we are in a title race, which is not the case, and it's more than proven now. And some very interesting comments from Butthead president, not Butthead, president of all Buttheads. No, not at all. But Glasner, the coach from Crystal Palace, which said a hard truth that people didn't want to hear, and it felt really cocky at the time because if he said something like that and then he gets his butt spanked, it would have looked pretty bad. But in the end, he didn't. And it said something like that we couldn't be surprised by Chelsea, or we wouldn't be surprised by Chelsea because they will do their attack where if they leave two in the defensive midfield, they form a line of five, and if they leave one, they'll form a line of six at times. We kind of know what to expect. We know what to defend for, and pretty much that was the case. Although I did see some signs of something different in Maresca that led to something interesting from Gusto, which a lot of people have trashed, and I don't agree with. But hey, it is what it is. And in case we started the game really well, and we scored an early goal. So you would have thought that, you know, given that we can score a lot lately, as long as we score 2 goals is always my thought. If we score two, we're in for a chance to win the game. If we score less than two, we're in trouble. And that's really sad to say because that's kind of where we were last year. And I said it in the last two reviews, Everton, Fulham, all these, we're sort of living the same thing where we definitely get these vibes that if we don't score two or three towards the end of the game, we're gonna lose and we're gonna get punished. And there's much to talk about there, also about resting players, especially Caicedo, and especially when you leave them alone in the middle. In any case, it started with seeing a Champong in the lineup as a center back, and that I found very exciting. I think a lot of Chelsea fans really enjoy having him come on. It's not like he came in and he was Thiago Silva or anything like that, and he did make a couple of mistakes. But from being such a young player, it was very exciting to see him on there, and I was happy to see Malagusto come in at right back. It's not like we have much choices anyway, guys. We had to play what we had to play. In any case, the rest was a completely predictable lineup. I think that's in Maresca's mind. That's his lineup. And to go quickly through it, it's Gusto, Achempong, Colwill, Cucurella, which left back is Cucurella, right back is Gusto and Colwill. The other one is in the middle. We know that it would be Fofana. And then it's Caicedo, Fernandez in a double pivot, Palmer in the 10, Neto and Sanchez on the wings, and Jackson up front. And that's what he sees as his best 11. He's sticking to it. And a lot of people are saying that even at the cost of some other players. Same thing in the back, although he did an amazing job today. Well, not amazing job, but he did a good job. Robert Sanchez with a couple of saves and a couple of messed up, like just threw the ball at somebody so we get attacked. Those are the players he just sticks with. And now he's becoming even more stubborn. And look, I'm not saying that Felix, I know he misses chances, but there's times that you need to bring players in just to change things up to unlock a little bit. And we didn't see that. And again, that's going to be a thing for conversation, but let's just sort of run quickly through it. So in the pre-match, Glasner says this: I'm happy to see a Champong. Pretty much that's the summary of what the pre-match looked like. And I'm already in these vibes, which should be really interesting to now look at, guys. What are the stats from the end of last season that we were doing really well, man? Playing a 4-2-3-1 more traditional. Everybody hating on Pochettino, but remember, we lifted up. We were doing really well towards the end. And what's the difference? All averaged out last season and this season, and keep in mind everybody has dropped points, and then we were ahead of Arsenal, we were ahead of Nottingham Forest. That's gone. City's now on our heels, so we're in a different world now. And this was the easy run of games. Yes, traditionally Chelsea don't do well in December, which is kind of one of those cursed things. Same thing, can't get a number 9 properly since Diego Costa probably, but or it's a really strong one. I'm not saying Jackson. I don't have an issue with Jackson. I actually really like him more than most of you guys out there. Most of you fans really trash him, and I think he's really good. But he is what he is. He's a young player that was a winger 2 seasons ago, and that he's trying to grow in. And his stats are not bad. But we'll get into that right now. In any case, we started the game well, and Colwill finds Jackson with a long ball. which I really liked, and that created a corner. But that tells me that at least we're considering that approach, and that's why I thought at one point James was played on the left center back position, or because he could find those long balls. And when we're stuck against a low block, those are interesting. And I've only seen Caicedo do that also. Not only Palmer's done it too, but they're really hard because the weight of the pass has to be really good when the other team is so sort of put together. The lines are so close together, so the weight has to be right. But you can ping that box, that ball over the defenders, and it's unlikely that they're expecting a long ball. Really, it's easier to defend, but they're not expecting it when we have teams against the ropes, which is what we're expecting these teams to do to us, and it happened today. In any case, that wasn't bad, and a nice cross from Pedro that finds Sancho, who attempts this volley, who does poorly, but I'm happy. We're breaking the lines, we're getting through, and I'm excited to see, like I said, Sancho in the lineup as a pre-up, because I'm in my mind what that means is that hopefully learn the lesson. He's going to have him overlap and not underlap and come in through the middle, and we did see that. We'll get into it. Again, sometimes I think he didn't look good because defensively he struggled a couple of times, but people fail to see that in context. Sometimes we say like that guy sucks, but are you seeing everything else? Are you seeing if the DMs are in place? Are you seeing if the right winger came back, and if he didn't, did the 10, in this case Palmer, cover that space to bridge the gap so Caicedo can make it and cover for him? And sometimes it's just that we're a little sloppy, and not even lack of effort, because everybody in Chelsea runs, but we're a little sloppy and disorganized and coming back and leaving a player like Gusto maybe alone. I don't know. Think about it. In any case, the 14th minute comes, and Colwill plays out the back, a pass to Sancho, which seems like a nothing pass, and he does one of these for you FIFA players. And I love those plays when you play the ball without touching the ball, and he destroys that defender. How nice was that? And then when he catches back up to him, which he does, which he will because he's not the fastest guy in the world, again, beats his marker, hands it off to Palmer, and Palmer does Palmer things, baby. Palmer things. The Palmer things. Don't kill me over my shit accent. Please like and subscribe for the effort. Come on, guys. But in any case, Palmer does his thing, and it's looking really good. And I'm excited. We got this, guys. We got this in the bag. And then Sancho in the 19th minute from a difficult angle, but he misses, and I'm starting to get stressed out. In the 25th minute, we counter, and Palmer, once he starts messing up a little bit, I start getting worried. He gets a great cross that comes in from Pedro Neto, who did an amazing job. And I don't know, he didn't predict that Pedro Neto was going to beat his guy or something, and he can't get his foot on it. We would kill another player for that miss, honestly, and for a mistake also that later Palmer got us in trouble for. But since he's Palmer, he's got a lot of credit in the bank, and I think that could be a problem sometimes for managerial decision making. But we'll see. Then we get a free header from a corner. We concede a free header from a corner. Also, like on one side, they get a good corner and a header, and on our side, our free header, of course, it fell to young man Champong. And he could have scored for it. I mean, he should have scored. But because we love him and he's young, we kind of say, give him some leeway. But that was a free header in the second post. And it worked because it's finally a decent cross. Somebody can tell us to stop taking the corners to the first post, and if you do stop doing such a shit job, we're really not taking advantage of those. And actually, Palmer may need to be off of many of these, both some of the free kicks and stuff. We're not really taking advantage of those balls, and this is the kind of game, guys, where if it's not working out, you need those set plays to work out for you. That's the difference maker. When in open play you're not being able to do it, you need to find good plays and strengthen in some of those set pieces, which we don't have. In any case, but we're ahead. But then there's this fear starts coming in. Mateta gets a chance to equalize, which I thought was a great chance. They broke through the right-hand side, our left-hand side, a couple of times, a little easily, if you ask me, because they've got good players, man. And they shoot wide, and they kind of grant us the a kindness to allow us to live in the game. And Sanchez quickly after that does a second intervention. He actually did a crazy save. I don't know if you guys saw when it's sort of like a cross coming in and he comes out. And I hate it because I'm trying to get on board with it, man, and Maresca and this whole thing. And I'm like, yeah, great save, great save. But later in the game, as you saw, he just trying to play out fast, handed the ball to an opponent, which leads to an attack that could have and should have been a goal. In any case, he did stop a couple of shots, improving his shot stopping from what we would badger him for before. But he makes an amazing save. This one that I'm telling you that he pretty much yanked it out of Mateta's feet, and which is pretty impressive. And then Palmer creates a chance for himself at one point, tries to score with the outside of his foot. It doesn't work. And then minute 43, we're closing the first half. And this one kind of pissed me off because he takes a shot when he had 3 clear passing options from far, from silly, and it's like, does that mean he's being like selfish, aggressive alpha player, which you love, or does it mean he doesn't trust some of the people on his team? But it was trash, to be honest. He's not trash; he's an amazing player, but that was trash to me. In any case, closing the first half, my notes here is like we controlled possession, and in the game. And what I liked at the end of the first half, which didn't happen in the second, is like after those couple of attacks that I'm telling you in the 36-something minute, Crystal Palace was starting to come back. And it seems like our team says, like, you know what, we're going to settle. And they control the ball a lot more. They're smart with control of the ball. They're trying to pull Palace back in to create space on a semi of a counter, because it's not a full counter if they don't press that high. But they were doing that really well. And they managed the game. They managed the minutes and saw out the first half. That did not happen later. In any case, the second half, I saw something at the 47th minute, between the 47th and 15th, like twice, which was Gusto making the overlapping runs. That's why I needed a change at some point early in the second half, because you already started seeing it, and we know it's been happening lately, so that should have been addressed by Maresca, and he's going to be criticized for that. But at that point, I don't know why he doesn't do this change that seems logical to me, which is, of course, Palmer in the 10, when he's getting stuck, he's not having a good game. He should be an option to take out. We shouldn't be afraid to take him out. Some people believe that you never take out a player like that because in the 94th minute he can score a winner. Agreed. But if he's probably tired with some of the games that he's had lately and he's not having a good game, he should be able to be take-outable. And if not, play him on the right. Sancho looked like to me like he was losing legs in the second half. You could have switched Pedro Neto to the left. There's many infinite options, but one could have been put Pedro Neto on the left, push Palmer to the right, and bring in a proper 10, another different 10 to partner with Palmer there, be it in Nkunku, or I prefer Felix for this. I know he's probably going to miss the goals, but I have faith that he'll create so much chaos that someone else will score them. And Palmer has a tendency to cut in, and Malagusto can overlap on the right-hand side. A couple of times that he did that, he does a great overlap, and he stretches the team wide, and he breaks the line. Now the defenders in Crystal Palace finally were behind their backs, and that's kind of tough to beat. But in any case, on the 48th minute, this is the one that scared me, as he misses a free shot on goal. That should have been a goal. And that's when the 49th minute, Sánchez just gives away this ball to them under pressure. And I'm starting to be worried. And the only alternative that we have is that somebody that didn't have a great game, but offensively, Gusto is widening that side of the field, and we're making some plays. 55th minute, Sancho has to make another save from a header. And at that point, it's like, okay, guys, again, Enzo, come on. A tactical change, a man-for-man change, fine. Drop forward. Why can't we populate the middle a little bit more and bring them out? There's so many things. I'm not trying to tell the man how to coach, but I do think something needs to be said. Why? Because it's not this in-game, this one moment, which that already warrants to be able to do tactical and technical changes. Fine. Move the formation around a little bit. Double up bomb Gusto on the right hand side, have Palmer cut inside, double up on someone, and without losing, knowing that you're going to get hit on the counter, you can double up in the middle on your DMs. Many options, many options. But he's sort of, some people are saying that a lot of these things he doesn't change, he doesn't move because he's trying to make a point. I think that would be crazy. I think it's more the other criticism that he has, that Leicester fans had for him, that when things started to go wrong, he just doubled down on his way of playing. We'd see many of these modern coaches, especially the possession-based coaches, they don't want to give up their philosophy, and they get up and they'll sink with the ship. I think that's like old school Bielsa as well. Like that's where all these guys got a lot of this offensive attack sort of mentality. Also, you've heard it from Pep. That's where they got it from, and they may become a little too stubborn. And Chelsea's always been a pragmatic team, so that could be a little tricky. Let's see what keeps happening in over these next few matches. But it's starting to look bad, and we're not making changes again. It's not like they took forever, but they weren't when we want. And there's two things to bring up there. Chelsea could have or should have had a penalty. These things are tricky that are happening right now in the Prem. There's times where the same play was a penalty in another week, and it isn't a penalty in this week. But also Colwill should have been out on his ass. And honestly, in the 87th minute, so should have Enzo Fernandez. Man, that was a double yellow. That to me, the Alwa of the Colwill could have been easily, if not for sure, a red card. Sorry about that noise. Police are coming for me. The police are coming for the 2 points and that Chelsea dropped. And also, Palmer started to decrease in his play. He started to be a little bit ineffective. We're starting to lose a little bit control. And minute 70, Caicedo delivers an amazing pass to Jackson. I don't have to tell you what happened. He's not having a good moment, right? So they're not getting put in. And the most painful thing about that one, really, is that, so as always, I love those plays. We recover the ball and we play to Jackson quickly. Those are the best. That's the best situations for the Chelsea that we have right now. And he beats his man, and because he tried to play out of the back, Crystal Palace, and we pressured properly, and he decides to make the worst possible decision, which a lot of number 9s make, but he's not in form, which is to hit the ball on target to the goal. But it was insane because Pedro Neto on the other side was just like in acres of space, in meters, in 1,000 meters. I'm exaggerating, but he had no one near him, and right behind him, so was Enzo Fernandez alone. And he might be in his own feelings or something at that point because he's not being very efficient, and he falls into a trap, but he doesn't deliver it again. And then Maresca comes in for Sancho after the goal, because in the 72nd minute, Palace dispossesses Palmer. Now people blame Palmer for that. It just happens in football. We're just not. Maresca even says that even when we attack, we have to be ready to defend, and that I think legs were kind of gone there a little bit too. And he gets dispossessed, and as a what up, Bezzy? As a doing the opposite of what Jackson, unselfishly, just he could have scored potentially, but he passes the ball on. They kind of destroyed our defense fairly easily, and they tapped it on. He just gave it for a tap into Mateta, who just slots it in. So done. And again, at this point, it's not just me, man. It's not like I'm just. We already know. We already know these fields. We already know this vibe. We already know what's happening with this team. We're like, this is not going well. And even before that goal went in, I'm like, we're gonna lose this game. Not only are we gonna draw this game, we're gonna lose this game if we don't do something different. And yeah, Lavia's not here, whatever. But dude, I don't get paid the bucks to figure this problem out. Maresca does, and he has to figure something out in these games. Whether you double up, bring in somebody as a double mid, and put on another defender, I don't necessarily would recommend that. Or if you want to be on the offensive, then maybe you drop Palmer a little bit deep and more on the right-hand side and bring and populate the midfield and try to draw them in and play again and another counter to get the next goal. Because the way you're playing, doesn't look like it's coming, right? In any case, Madueke comes in, and as always, I disagreed with that substitution. But he's a guy that's always going to try, and he tries. Again, Enzo should on the 87th should have been double carded and out of the team, if you ask me. 89th minute, we're pushing but sloppy. We've seen this 1,000 times. It's like minute 70, whatever. I'm like, okay, I can start probably making the thumbnail of the video, which today took me so long to do because, as you guys know, I'm still learning. I'm improving. So please like and subscribe so I can keep learning and making videos for you guys and getting better. So I'm kind of slow to figure out when I have an issue. And today I had one, and I was thinking should just start making this because at best, this is a draw. We're probably gonna lose. So I can make my dumb sad face video for the thumbnail already, and then just change the score at the end because it's looking like a draw or an L. We're taking another L today probably, and even though they added time, I'm like, nothing's gonna happen, and that's where it ended up. Now some main points here. I think there was players that played well at some point, and at some point they didn't, and could have warranted a change, and that to me was Sancho and Palmer. Please tell me in the comments, is Palmer somebody you should never take off? Because let me tell you something. Like I said, there's somebody that if you're one of my few subscribers that I have, amigos, that have been watching my videos and saying, please, can you please take out Caicedo in some of these matches at the 70th, 80th minute? Come up with a system where you can do that, or diminish the workload on him, because he does not have the leg to play. Nobody has the legs or the lungs to play that many games. As that many games broadly, yes, he does. He's probably one of the best, fittest players on earth. But as a lone DM in front of a line of three, where he actually has to drop it, and you guys saw it today, and if you didn't, you need to pay some more damn attention. Where he drops in as a center back, or he drops in as a right back, covering all those positions on top of doing the cut, and on top of being the one that hard presses on the top end, the one that transitions defensively. You're going to kill this guy. He's going to get hurt. In any case, he could be substituted at some point if you have to, or put in a position, make a substitution where he now is a little bit less mobile and he's just destroying at the very back, and he has options to play out. And the other one is Palmer, amigos. It's okay. Can we just move him or substitute him? Fine. You don't want to substitute? Can we move him? Can we move him? Maybe to the right. I think that guy can even play on the left. We haven't tried it in a long time, but he had an amazing season on the right-hand side. There's no reason we can't play him on the right for a little bit. Why? Just to bring in somebody in as a 10. Because the solution was, I like that Mark Yu came in. I love that player. That was a like for like, though, right? I mean, he was going to give more. He had more legs, so he was going to press those CBs a little bit. But I think Sancho was, even though he had a good game, a little bit tired. You could have mixed it up. Pedro, that still had legs, in my opinion, could have shifted to the left, Palmer to the right, bring in another 10, and bring Mark Yu in. Fine. Or why? Isn't there a world where we can play two strikers and let our right backs or left backs that can do it, because both Gusto can do it and Palmer, they can put in crosses? Can't we put in crosses to two number 9s when we're struggling for a goal, some old school action there, and see if these guys can get at the end of it? If we don't have a number 9 that could get at the end of some crosses, then we're in a world of shit. So I believe they can. But maybe they're not even training that kind of style of play, and we do need options. So yeah, I think Maresca is going to be under scrutiny for sort of, again, decision making, not having more options, Chelsea being found out, and we'll see. So tell me that. Is it who? Again, I don't like this about blame. And if I ever have the good fortune of a Chelsea player watching my channel, I will always stand by you. I'm never going to criticize. I see other pundits saying, like, this guy's trash, this guy's shit, you got to sell this guy. That's insane, man. Sometimes it's the system. Sometimes it's tired legs. Sometimes there's some – I'm actually going to give you – because I see a lot of interviews in Spanish. I'm fortunate. So I'm very fortunate that way, that I can see that people who don't speak Spanish can see it. But seeing, like, what Enzo Fernandez has to say, or Caicedo, like, they're sort of in Spanish interviews that they do in other countries or with other sort of football sources. And the one that I saw today, Fernandez was speaking about, how much it's been a struggle to learn and understand the system that Maresca put in. He wasn't complaining at all. He was just saying that's why it was so hard for him then, and that he's still learning. And I think maybe the tweaks that he's trying to do in these games are subtle tactical things that they're not delivering on. So I don't know. All I know is that what he's proposing is not working. From the outside, people are thinking like he doesn't have any ideas and he's sort of lost for it. I don't know which one of those two it is. So tell me what you guys think? Is this an Enzo Maresca problem? Is it that stubbornness? Is he going to be one of those stubborn coaches that never change and will sink with the ship, trying to put in his style in every game, like we see Ange Postecoglou doing, which is like, oh my god. Although today he was pragmatic. I was going to make a review of that. I took all the notes and stuff, but I didn't have the time. He tried to be a little bit more pragmatic today. He just doesn't have the quality, I think. What do you think is the case with us? Please let me know in the comments. And again, as always, to the players, I love, value, and respect you, and all of us are behind you. I know you're going to make it through this patch, Maresca. I know you'll find the inspiration. And as always, come on, you Blues.